What's up? It's Austin from the Sin the House podcast. Just gonna do a short little video on the college basketball games today. Really been meaning to do more college basketball videos throughout the year, but just haven't gotten to it. But here we are, first one. Just recap of the main games today. Start off with A&M at home losing to Alabama, top 10 AP matchup. Just kind of the thing, Alabama, they were able to go on the road and win at Texas A&M. I know A&M was without Wade Taylor, which is obviously very, very impactful, but Alabama's still able to get a great win on the road, tough against a tough physical A&M team. A&M, Zerk Phelps played good again today. Played really well against Oklahoma in the midweek, but hopefully they can get Wade Taylor back as soon as possible. And I think this A&M team is still very good despite dropping this game at home. Alabama, it just shows Alabama. If you're able to win these conference games on the road, these physical games, these tight games, I think it means something, and it can really prepare you for March. It's a great win for Alabama. Another great SEC road win today. Kentucky picked up a great win against Mississippi State. Mississippi State, a great team. Cam Matthews played well, but Kentucky really shot the three well today. And they were just able. They're going to be able, if they're hitting their shots, it's going to be really hard to beat. Their offense just runs so smoothly with Mark Pope there. But what a great win. They were able to kind of flush the Georgia game and able to win a road game, go 1-1 this week. Both games were on the road, which is already hard to do in the SEC. They pick up a win over a Mississippi State team that's really very good. So that's a good win there for Kentucky. Creighton Butler kind of start the day. Creighton picks up a good win on the road. And if Creighton, if they want to keep themselves in the bracket for now, I think they're definitely in the bubble. I don't know if they're in or out right now, but they want to keep themselves, at least in the bubble. Just keep them in. They got to beat these. They got to win these games, right? Butler on the road. It's a must-win game. They got the win. Keep themselves, at least on the bubble. Pitt and Louisville. Louisville goes on the road in a game I think that was really big for the ACC to tell, who's kind of vying for second place right now. I feel like Duke destroyed both Pitt and SMU, who are kind of the two teams, or not just those two, but two of the teams that were kind of vying to be in that kind of group to see who was, at second, third. Louisville goes on the road, beats Pitt. I think it shows Louisville is a contender in this ACC. I think the ACC is Duke and then the rest. But the ACC, even though it's super weak, it's still going to get multiple teams in. So the fact that Louisville was able to go on the road and beat one of the top teams in the league in Pitt, Rain Smith, 7 threes, that's what he does. That's a great win for Louisville. Keep them inside the bracket. They had a good win in the midweek. Forgetting who it was, but they had a good win in the midweek. This was a good week for Louisville with a win on the road at Pitt. And then USC beats Illinois on the road. I know Illinois was out without Kasparis, Yakuchonis, lottery, maybe even top 5 guy in the NBA draft for Illinois. So that's obviously a big piece of your team that was out of the game. But USC, man, I haven't seen anything that has them in the tournament or even in the bubble. They want to get to the tournament. They got to compete in the Big Ten. This was a big win for them against a Illinois team that was, kind of undermanned. But Duke Notre Dame Not really much to talk about other than Cooper Flack had 42 points. That's why he's projected first overall pick. That's why many people are talking about him as a generational wing forward, point forward, whatever. Uh, 42 points on only 14 shots, 16 of 17 from the free throw line, 7 assists. I think he had 6 rebounds. Phenomenal game. New Mexico beats San Diego State in a game where San Diego State only scored 48 points. A game, I don't remember the exact number, but San Diego State compared to New Mexico, it was like almost a 20-shot difference on how many shots that they attempted. New Mexico had 13 offensive rebounds compared to San Diego State's 1. New Mexico had more points off turnovers, more points, more fast break points. Mexico really just kind of dominated the game. Leads to a 14-point win. Great win to try to, bring them one step closer to leading the Mountain West Conference, a conference that's really right now underrated. They got 4 really, really good teams: New Mexico, San Diego State, Boise State, and Utah State, all good teams. New Mexico, we'll see how that conference plays out. But if you're saying they're number 1, I'm not mad at you. Memphis got a win today, but only by a few. It was like a 4-point win. It's just what I think of Memphis this year, is that they're just going to be inconsistent. Remind me a lot of Alabama last year. Their guard play, they got Haggerty and Hunter and Rogers. They got these guards that can score. But if their shots are falling, they can beat UConn. They can beat Michigan State. They can beat Ole Miss. They can beat these really good teams. But if not, they might lose to Arkansas State, right? I think they're just going to be one of the inconsistent teams this year. BYU drops a game against TCU. BYU, they're just on the downhill slide. 3rd straight conference loss after beating Arizona State to open conference play. They got to fix something. I think everything had them in the tournament, and then they've been on this downhill trajectory. Not great. UConn picks up the needed win after the loss in the midweek to Villanova. Able to beat Georgetown on the road. Good win for UConn. You got to win these games if you want to. If you want to be. If you want to submit yourself as one of the top teams in the country and a real threat to go deep into the tournament. Iowa State, really impressed. They go into Texas Tech, get a win on the road, 1-point overtime win, and I think it really is like if you want to show that you're a really good team, right? That you're a great team, you got to be able to win games on the road against good teams in conference play. Where it's just a fight, close game. Can you figure out a way to win? Iowa State did. Blanking on his name right now. For Curtis Jones had 26 points off the bench, kind of their 6-man guy. Plays starter minutes, but yeah, great win for Iowa State. Really impressed. Shows that they're one of the top teams in the country. They found a way to win on the road in a struggle. That's a big time win for them. Kansas, Cincinnati. What a crap game if you like offense, bro. I mean, you don't turn into that game if you were looking for 100-point bombs or anything. No. Kansas gets the win. Cincinnati put up 40 points. 40 points like in the game, not at halftime. 40 points in the game. They shot 30% from the field. 30%. That is horrible. Kansas wasn't much better. They only had 52 points. Forget what they were from the field. They were like 35%. Not a good game for offense, but Kansas finds a way to win. UNC picks up a nice win over North Carolina State on the road, rival. These are the games. If UNC wants to be in the tournament, if they want to contend in the ACC, got to win these games. They win it. Mizzou, nice win over Vandy. Not the most flashy thing. Nobody's going to be talking about it, but Mizzou, I think they're in the tournament right now. If they could just keep winning these games, I think they'll stay in it. Florida beats Arkansas on the road. Great win for Florida. Kind of same thing I was saying about Iowa State. Can you win these games against talented teams in your conference? I know Arkansas has been struggling, but they're still a very talented team. Can you win these games against talented teams in your conference on the road in a struggle, in a fight where you just find ways to win? Florida did that. They get the win at Arkansas. Great win for them. One of the top teams in the country right now. Oklahoma lose a third straight in conference play to Georgia. Georgia, what a week for them. Beat Kentucky and Oklahoma at home. They'll probably be ranked next week. Georgia will. I mean, putting themselves, safely into the tournament field right now. Oklahoma definitely on the downhill trajectory, but I wouldn't be too worried at all. They, their first 3 games of conference play on the road at Bama, tough to win that game. They played A&M at home, up 18 in that game, let that lead slip away, but they looked very good in that game. They just couldn't close it out. And then they lose to Georgia on the road. Georgia's a good team right now, kind of an underappreciated team. But I think Oklahoma will figure it out. And Georgia, a team on the climb. I don't think anybody wants to play them right now. Tennessee, same thing as I was saying about Iowa State and Florida. Win a big-time conference game on the road. 74-70, these close games. Trey Johnson was trying to get Texas that win, but Tennessee were able to close it out. They were able to win, flush the Florida loss. If they can kind of regroup, I think, again, it's what top teams do, find ways to win on the road in the conference. St. John's picks up another win, kind of trending to be that third team in the Big East. Good win for them, keeping themselves, I guess, in like the 7 to 10 seed range, somewhere around in there. Just keep winning the games you should in the Big East, right? You really can't afford some of these bad losses in the Big East. But they pick up a nice win. Indiana, I think some people thought that they were maybe turning a corner here. No, they got destroyed by Iowa on the road, 25-point loss. Maybe Woodson needs to go. I don't know. I'm not the guy to decide that. I don't really follow Indiana super closely. I know that they have been very bad compared to their expectations. So I don't know. If you want to fire them, fire. But that's not up to me to decide. Gonzaga. I don't know what's with Gonzaga. And Washington State could be a good team. I don't know. I haven't watched Washington State at all this year. But I was monitoring, the score of this game, and Gonzaga never really pulled away. It was always close, right? And Gonzaga, if they just need to figure it out. I had them going to the national championship preseason, and they just dropped a couple games where it's like, you should have won these games. UCLA, a game that they should have won. Kentucky, they let that big lead slip. They lost to UConn in a game I'm pretty sure Caravan didn't even play that game. So if they can figure it out, Washington State could be good. I don't know. But Gonzaga was at home. They should not lose another game, Gonzaga. They shouldn't. They should run the Mountain West, or not the Mountain West, the West Coast Conference. They should run it clean. Then if they can run it clean, and they look good in their wins, I'll start thinking of them as one of the top contenders again. But right now, I don't think you can. Baylor with a nice overtime win over Arizona State. Again, Baylor goes on the road. Good win for Baylor. Nobody's talking about Baylor right now. Nobody's talking about Baylor right now in the Big 12. I think that they could sneak around, be a dangerous team. Be an Arizona State team that I was not impressed when Arizona State played BYU, but they just look kind of disorganized. There's a technical foul, but nonetheless they go on the road in conference play, pick up a tight win and kind of a fight of a game. It's a good win for Baylor. Arizona, they keep stacking the wins. Arizona was my preseason national championship pick. They get the win over UCF by 8 today, and if they can keep stacking wins, right? They dug themselves into a hole with a 4-5 start. They're trying to get out of the hole now. They can keep climbing. Arizona is a team that has all the talent in the world. If if they can figure it out here, dangerous team. And then last game here, UC Irvine beats UC San Diego. Might be asking, why does that matter? Those were two teams that were kind of, they're in the same conference, that were kind of going back and forth on projected being into the tournament as like a 12-13 kind of seed. UC Irvine gets the win on the road at UC San Diego, puts himself in first place in the Big West Conference. I'm telling you, man, the Anteaters of UC Irvine, they slide into that 13 seed, man. I would not want to play them as a 4 seed. They got the history, right? I feel like UC Irvine is the team that you put into the 13 seed and you just automatically advance them into the second round. Like, they're just the upset. That is the upset. UC Irvine. I would not want to play UC Irvine. They know the history of how to upset people. But yeah, it's gonna bring it to a wrap of the recap video. Just gonna try to get as many of these as possible. Really been trying to do more, but first one here. Got a couple good games Sunday. I think who's playing? Penn State's playing Oregon. I think Purdue's playing maybe Nebraska. A couple good Big Ten games. So we'll just see how it plays out. Continue to monitor these conferences, the projected bracket. But yeah, for now, I'm out.